Well, hello, my dear brothers and sisters. We have arrived at the book of Proverbs, perhaps one of my favorite books in the Bible. And yes, I know I say that with an overwhelming majority of the books. Won't be the first time and certainly won't be the last time you hear me say that. However, this really is a very special book. Of course, it is categorized as one of the books that we call the book of wisdom and poetry, a very, very powerful book, and it's broken up into a few parts, and we'll just go over that very, very quickly. But one thing you should know is that an overwhelming majority of these books were written by Solomon, and or they're actually quoting Solomon. And of course, as you know, God made Solomon the greatest, in terms of wisdom, ruler that ever lived on the face of the earth. He had a tremendous amount of wisdom as a ruler. Personal life, probably not so much. But when we look at the breakdowns of this book, you'll see that Proverbs 1 through 9 were written exactly by the hand of Solomon. We know that when we look at the main collection of Proverbs of Solomon, that of course becomes chapters 10 through 24. They may have not been written by him, but they were certainly quotes or attributions to him. And then when you look at Proverbs chapter 25 through 29, those would be Hezekiah's collection of Solomon's Proverbs. And of course, chapter 30 would be the words of Agar, and chapter 31 would be King Lemuel. And in reality, when we look at King Lemuel, we presume those to be the words of Solomon. A lot of people say that it was Solomon. As a matter of fact, Proverbs 31, for those of you women who look at that chapter and get discouraged because you feel like, maybe I don't meet all the requirements of Proverbs 31, that is perhaps one of my absolute favorite addresses that you will hear for a man who is eulogizing his mother. And that's exactly what I believe is going on. I think Solomon is eulogizing his mother, and all the things that he described her doing was what she did throughout the tenure of her life. And so for you women who say, well, I can't do all that stuff in one day, that's okay, because Bathsheba didn't do that either. Not to mention the fact that she had a lot of servants that were working for her, so she was able to do a lot more than the average woman would do. But that is an admirable goal when we look at Proverbs 31 of how a godly woman should be. Now, my favorite part of Proverbs is Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 through 7. Of course, it is, I quote it all the time, where it says, trust the Lord with all your heart, don't lean on your own understanding, and in all your ways acknowledge him, and he'll direct your paths. Do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord, depart from evil. It's a very, very, very powerful passage. It's one that I very much enjoy. And one other thing you should know about the book of Proverbs, okay? And this is before we shut this video down, and that is, for many pastors, it is oftentimes the hardest set of passages to teach from. Why? Because most of the time in these Proverbs, one simple sentence you can make a whole sermon out of, quite literally. I mean, when you think about it, I said literally. Anyway, you can really make a whole sermon that centers around one line, because there are some powerful statements that are made in a single line that are all life-changing. So when you go through this book, I would encourage you to go through it slowly. I would encourage you to make flashcards of it. I would encourage you to write some of these things down, commit them to memory, because you will learn about how to navigate through every area of your life, personal life, family life, your job, your work, how to deal with foolish people, how to deal with arrogant people, how to deal with very wise people, how to nurture and develop your relationship with God. You're going to find all of that in this book, and you are going to love every minute of it. So cherish it, savor it, take your time with it. I know that the schedule is going to make you read a certain portion of it in big chunks, but I would tell you that just go back to it every day and spend more and more time just meditating on certain parts of it. It will completely change your life. If you're looking for wisdom, you'll find it right there. God bless you guys.